Have you ever stopped to think that your life, the way you navigate the tough stuff, the hope you hold on to, could actually be a guide for someone else? Today, we're diving into this really powerful idea from a sermon about becoming a living signpost for people who are trying to find their own way.
So this is really the big question we're wrestling with here. Just let it sit in the back of your mind as we go. In your world, with the people you see every day, how could you be that signpost for someone?
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to unpack what it means to be a signpost, look at where that idea comes from, and explore why these guides are so needed right now. Then we'll get super practical with a simple call to action, talk about what it really takes, and wrap up with an inspiring final thought. Okay, so it all kicks off with this simple but kind of huge realization. People are watching. Your actions, your character, your whole journey. It's like an open book. In a way, your life itself is the real message that people are reading every single day.
And wow, this quote just hits it right on the head. People don't read the Bible as much as they read you. Just let that sink in for a second. For a lot of people, your life might be the most powerful example they ever see of what it is you believe. That's a pretty humbling thought, isn't it?
Now, to really get this whole signpost idea, it actually helps to rewind a bit and look at where it all started. This whole theme of a journey, of finding a way, isn't some new concept. It's baked into the very DNA of the Christian faith.
Get this, the very first followers of Jesus weren't even called Christians at first. They were known as the people of the way. It was a movement, a shared journey. They were following a path, not just checking off a list of rules. And that's so important. It changes everything when you think about being a signpost on that kind of journey.
So, if we're called to be signposts, well, that must mean there are people out there looking for directions, right? What's the need that these living, breathing signs are supposed to meet?
And at its heart, it's about a search we can probably all relate to. So many people out there are looking for something that actually matters, for a little bit of hope when things feel dark, for a sense of purpose, for that feeling of finding their way home.
And this is where the big disconnect happens. When folks who aren't part of a church are asked why they're not, the answer is often just shockingly simple. It's not usually some big story of rejection or anger. It's often just because nobody ever asked. The signpost was just missing.
Well, this leads us straight to the "what do we do about it" part of the message. And if the big hurdle is often just a missing invitation, then the solution is actually wonderfully straightforward. It boils down to a simple, three-step process.
First, it starts with asking. Just ask for a chance to be that person for someone. Second, be ready for that moment when it comes. And third, and this is maybe the most important part, share your why. Don't just list what you believe, share the hope, the joy, the wonder that you get from it. That is the direction people are really looking for.
Now let's be real. Being a signpost isn't some casual thing you do on the weekends. It's something that has to exist in the messy, complicated real world, with all its amazing highs and its crushing lows. And that takes a serious commitment.
This sermon really leans into this. In the same breath, it talks about the incredible joy of baptisms, new people, even teenagers, choosing a fresh start. And at the same time, it talks about the deep, real sorrow of funerals for the young. Faith isn't an escape from reality. It's meant to be the signpost through the middle of it.
And this brings us to this really striking, kind of old school phrase. It really captures the level of commitment we're talking about. So, what on earth does it mean to nail your colors to the mast?
So it's an old naval term. Your colors are just your ship's flag. And in the middle of a chaotic battle, you would literally nail your flag to the mast. It was a signal to everybody, your crew, the enemy, that you were not surrendering. You were going to win or you were going to go down with the ship. It's this incredible metaphor for an all-in, no-turning-back kind of commitment. So, after all of this, after understanding our role, seeing the need, and really thinking about the commitment, it all boils down to one final, inspiring charge.
The whole point of being a living signpost is to be a source of light, to be a harbinger of hope, which is just a fancy way of saying you're the one who shows up and announces that something good is coming. It's all about shining a light and helping people see the path forward.
And so we end right where we started, with a question for you to take with you. As you walk your own path this year, who are you going to meet along the way? And where might you get the chance to be a signpost, pointing them toward a little bit of hope?